Hey guys, welcome to episode number 6 of the Derby Premier Live, and to start off this episode, we're currently second in the league, only a point off top of Nottingham Forest, of course, and they're currently unbeaten in the league after 5 games. Not exactly how it's going for them in real life. Bristol City, though, very high in the table. I think they had one of the best transfer windows this season. Obviously, did get Chris Martin from us. It'll be very interesting to see if Chris Martin... I don't know if Chris Martin's actually on the database or not. I've not actually checked that. I might need to put Chris because there's quite a few Martins on the game. And maybe we bring Chris Martin back to the club in January. Maybe that's one thing I could do. That'll be the nice thing to do. But obviously it wouldn't happen in real life. But this is career mode. So yeah, I waited until the international transfer window had closed, so this video has been recorded on the day that it's actually being uploaded, which is quite a rarity. Normally I record the night before just to be able to get the video up in plenty of time. So it does mean we're not going to be able to sign Serdar Dursun in real life, so I think I'm just going to remove him from the shortlist. Obviously he's 28 years old, he's not very fast, he's obviously just a big target man. So I think we will remove him from the shortlist because he won't be signing for the club. And now Charlie Austin is being heavily linked at the minute. He was expected. Well, a reporter said that he was expected to sign yesterday, but he didn't sign yesterday, so it might happen in the next couple of days or so. But I think until it actually happens, I'm just going to wait. I'm not that fussed, really. He's obviously a very good target man. And obviously if we can get him in January, that'd be great. But I think for the time being, I'm kind of happy with the squad, and I just don't think we need to spend the money until January. And obviously with the situation at the minute, if we do get promoted potentially, we could spend our remaining budget on essentially pre-contract signings for the next season, and I do quite like doing that. Just having a look at players, I don't know if you can do it, but basically just looking at players with less than 6 months left on their contract in January, and then get them for the next season. When we'll potentially be in the Premier League. At the minute, obviously it's looking like that because we're in the top 2. So yeah, in terms of transfers, I think obviously we brought in Liam Delap and made Liam Clark, not Liam Clark, why did I say Liam Clark? What's his name? I can't remember. What? Matt Clark, there we go. I literally just completely brain dead then for a second. But yeah, Matt Clark in defence, obviously we made permanent, who's obviously very young and very high potential at 23 years old, and already being essentially 78 rated with that +6, of course. It'd be very interesting to see how he develops throughout the season. Obviously getting Liam Delap, really good signing as well. And I'd say Liam Delap's essentially, the Charlie Austin of this career mode. He's a big target man, and he's got pace, so that's good to see, of course. So I think we've just got plenty of players, and I just don't feel the need to sign anyone at the minute, and would rather develop the players that we currently have. So let's go into the Bristol City game. There is no Chris Martin starting the lineup, but there is Andy Vyman, of course. They are playing a 3 at the back as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they do with their fullbacks, and obviously Patterson, former Derby player as well. I do need to change the bench a little bit just because of fitness. Obviously we won the cup game against Sheffield Wednesday quite recently, so I think if we put Byrne for maybe just George Evans, that'll do. Let's have a look at the Bristol City lineup then for today's game. Maybe not on that screen, Luke. There we go. So it's pretty much what the expected lineup is. One thing I must say is the Bristol City goalkeeper kits this season, I'm really tempted to get one just because they're just so creative and just really nice. Like goalkeeper kits are most of the time just quite plain. Just we've got an orange kit. Last few years, we've had a green kit and stuff like that. There's not really much creativity that goes towards a goalkeeper kit, but yeah, Bristol City's this season really nice indeed. And it'll be interesting to see how we do against them, of course, with the 3 at the back, and obviously quite good midfield as well. So it'll be an interesting game. As you can see, we've scored essentially 20 goals. It's at the minute we're on a 5 goal per game average. And I think that's just a little bit too high. First 10 minutes against Bristol City does seem slightly more difficult. As you can see, they're dropping off quite a bit with the deep line height. Rooney with the ball here now. Now into Jason Knight's path, who has got an acre to run into with the shot straight at Bentley. And as you can see, that goalkeeper kit just looks super, really, really nice. City on the attack here with Nagy. Don't know why the commentator keeps calling him Nudge or something. Goes into the box to Weimann. He's just defensively there. The player switching. I was using Bielik, and then for some reason it changed to Jordan Ibe on the outside of him. And of course, the former Derby County man does score against his old club. It's just what happens in football and on FIFA and Football Manager especially. Like, if you sign a player from a former club, they'll always score for their old team. But as you can see here, like, I don't know why the player switch happened there. That it's just FIFA really, but yeah, it's been an interesting first 25 minutes. I think defensively they're much more solid, which is good to see. It just means that we have to be a bit more creative, and we won't be scoring 5 goals a game. Chance in the box with Naki Wells now with a shot from Weimann, and they do make it 2-0 there in the 36th minute of the match, getting a second of the game. And yeah, I still can't defend. I don't think many people can defend on this FIFA, to be fair, but it's one of those where the back three just kind of got mixed up there. Bielik just wasn't exactly in the right place at the right time, and Andy Weimann was to make it 2-0. Chance on the edge of the box with Gosriak. Bird now with it. Hopefully can get a decent shot off, and he does. He does find the back of the net with his weaker foot to get it back to a 1-goal difference, and generally don't celebrate when you're losing the game, but for some reason I did. Yeah, there's still the there's still chances coming up. I think I've done the right thing though with making it slightly more difficult. Obviously, have I just seen that right? Bristol City have just taken off their player that scored 2 goals. Why? Why is that in the game? He just wouldn't do that. I don't know why the game's gone. Oh, let's take off the player that scored a couple of goals for us. Not bring on Chris Martin. Bring on somebody I've not even heard of. It's a little bit odd, but that's the game at times. Good tackle there from Bird. Bird at winning the ball is lovely. And obviously if I can just get those defending stats up even more, he's going to be great. Sibley in the box here. Couldn't quite turn the man though. Rooney's intercepted it here. Slips it inside to Lawrence. Big mistake at the back, but a great save from Bentley. Probably not the best of shots from Tom Lawrence, to be fair. We have just made a couple of changes, bringing on Holmes out wide, and don't know, fitness isn't too much of an issue this game, but I think we will bring on Delap up front and potentially George Evans at the back, just to get him a bit of fitness, of course, or maybe Curtis Davis. I think just because we're chasing the game, I'll go for Evans because he's slightly more better on the ball. And there's full time. It is our first loss since our 4-game win streak, I think. So a little bit of a shame we couldn't get the 4 in the row, but I think it's actually killed one of our streaks to get in the objectives as well. But Andy Weimann being the difference between the two teams, and for some reason they subbed him off in like the 50th minute. But as you can see, it's a little bit frustrating because they only had 2 shots and 2 goals, whereas we had slightly more, but not too much more. But I think it's nice just to have a bit of difference in results. It would be quite boring if this career mode was literally just win every week. So I just think it makes things a lot more fun for me, and yeah, it'll just make us obviously get better at the game. Transfer offer here from New York City for Florian Joseph soon. I think we will go in to negotiate that, and if we can get that 1.1 million, obviously it's going to be interesting now because it means that Josephson has to go to a team in the EFL. So it'll be very interesting to see if he actually does move in real life or not, but I don't see the point of having him on this particular career mode. And obviously 1.1 million, it's a nice amount of money, but they're unfortunately not wanting to pay that, so we're going to have to go for probably about one and a bit basically, just to get an extra 50k. But unfortunately I think we're just going to have to accept it and take the money at this point. There's only a few days until the end of the window. One thing that's kind of annoying is that you have to keep changing. I've only done like a couple of drills, but it'd be nice to be able to basically not have to keep changing these to the ones that you actually want, so you keep the players that, you know, kind of keep it like it was in previous years. That's the only thing I'm kind of finding annoying with this, but I guess it just means it's a little bit more unique, and maybe if I just do all the training drills, then it won't be an issue. But at the minute, obviously, since we're quite early on in the game, I've not really had the time to do it. So I think I'm just trying to take out players that obviously aren't going to grow, such as Josephson and Marriott, basically, and then put players like Buchanan and Whitaker, and just seeing who's not in drills, basically. Transfer offer for George Evans. I think we will be declining this one because he is just a nice player to have as a rotation option. Obviously can play centre mid or in the centre back positions. Now we are in deadline day. If we just look through, as you can see, we obviously brought in Hutchinson and Clark, spending 4.79 million, which is actually pretty much the most in the league. I don't think anyone else. Yeardom's left Reading. Andre Gray went to Sheffield Wednesday from Watford. Pabon, very pacey winger, I think, from the Mexican league, I want to say. Gone to Stoke for 6.8 million. So I don't want to make it too unrealistic. You know, if we do make signings in real life, we'll obviously look to get those in January. Just a quick look through. Interesting that Real Madrid paid 100 million for Immobile, for a 30-year-old. You know, you just think, really, would that happen? Jamie Vardy to Barcelona. But yeah, obviously, like, I've tried to make it as realistic as possible with the signings, but obviously once the game starts, you know, you've got players going here, there and everywhere. Alex Tellers obviously did transfer to Manchester United yesterday, but has gone to Real Madrid on the game. So it's kind of difficult to make it. Obviously, I just want to make it realistic for Derby, because I can't really control what the other clubs do. So let's go simulate through deadline day and let's see if any players do leave the club. Broken down, he couldn't have reached. That's kind of annoying. You see, Dwayne Holmes has got a very good transfer price on him at 4 million for a squad rotation player. That's actually quite good, but we will reject that. Obviously, if we do get an injury, it'll be a great little backup. So Andre Wisdom submitted a transfer request because I didn't extend his contract. So a little bit annoying. One thing I could do is just let the contract expire at the end of the season, or wait until January and maybe you'll get a bit happier. But yeah, it seems like you need to be a bit more gentle with your players when you're basically talking to them. So that's kind of good. We do have a transfer offer from Copenhagen for Jack Marriott, but I'll be rejecting that since it's obviously a very good striker. He did score a hat-trick in the FL Cup for us. And yeah, it'd be nice to see how far we do go. Obviously, we do have Tottenham in the next round, and with these new sliders, I don't feel confident beating Tottenham. But as you can see, there's not much happening on transfer deadline day for us. So it looks like Josephson isn't going anywhere, and I don't think anyone's moving at all. Over 1 billion spent, which is interesting. And there we go. That's that wrapped up. Obviously, with 1 hour left, nothing really can happen. We have got 4 messages now that the window is over, and it is a training injury the second that the window closes. Very interesting indeed. Very convenient, EA. So Matt Clark is going to be out for 11 days. A little bit annoying, but that's the game. I guess it just means we can rotate the squad a little bit, so that's good to see. So we do have our first scout report here from Ivory Coast, and from the looks of things, not many good reports here. Basically, if the player doesn't have, like, this is a good player because he has essentially 50 rating and he can go up to a 93. That's what I'm basically looking. To be honest, all 3 of these are quite good, especially this guy, which I will sign. I'm not too sure if we will sign anyone else, but at the same time I may as well sign them because they don't exactly cost us a lot of money. They are quite tall as well. I think in the past few youth players have been quite short, but I've not really looked into it in the past. I've mainly focused on real players, but since we're doing quite a big youth project, I thought it'd be a good idea just to make things a little bit more interesting. So in terms of the new players, obviously they're around oh, we got a goalkeeper. So defensive minded does goalkeepers, which is interesting. Obviously we've got a left back / centre back here. If we can just put these into development plans as well, obviously that will help them grow in stats quite quickly. Transfer here from Olympique Lyon for Andre Wisdom. What a world we live in. Now, Wisdom's one that, I don't know, I do want to keep, but we have got loads of centre-backs. So it's a bit of an interesting one. I don't know, I kind of just want to see if we can crawl it back, but then again, it may affect the morale of the rest of the group. And it's interesting that they can. I'm guessing this won't go through till January then, because obviously the game doesn't have different transfer deadlines for different clubs. So let's go negotiate this just to see what we can kind of get, and maybe a player swap. Actually, that might be a good shout. But I don't really know what we could get for a fair swap, obviously, because we've not scouted anyone. But if anyone pops up that I can think of, that'll be kind of good. Obviously, the wild would be quite nice. Yeah, it's kind of difficult when you don't know what the stats of the players are, obviously. But we'll go for a. I think realistically, I'd be happy to sign for 5 million. If they go for 5 million, then happy days. It's only 1.5 million more. They're going up to 3.6. If we can go to 4.8, anything over 4.5 really. Let's see if we can get them to wiggle down to 4.7. No, they're not happy. So it'll be interesting to see if we can actually make Wisdom happy. Because obviously I said that. I don't remember saying, oh yeah, we'll get you a contract. Because it never really came up or anything, or maybe just completely ignored it. So a bit of an international break and a bit of development going on here with Craig Forsyth. Since we don't have any left backs at the club at the minute, we may as well convert him to a centre back, and it does actually increase him to a 70 rated player, so that's kind of decent. We will put him on a ball playing defender, and yeah, we do have the Luton game coming up next, so let's have a quick look and see where they are in the table. Should be bottom half. Yeah, bottom half, 14th currently. They have won 3, lost 3, so it's pretty even at the minute. Obviously the bottom 3 is the newly promoted teams in Cardiff City and Millwall down there for some reason. Very interesting. And Forest top of the table. A little bit frustrating, but obviously it's not going that well in real life. So let's go into the next game then. We do have the injury to Matt Clark, of course, so I'll just quickly auto replace it. Ooh. Is Joswiak still on international duty? Oh, this game, man. Oh. Why is this game the most annoying thing in the universe? Because the championship does not happen when the international break is, and EA don't know that. I think the reason that this has happened is probably the Carabao Cup, and it's just really frustrating. It's kind of lucky that we're playing Luton, but it does mean we won't have. Is Matt Clark fit yet? If I look on the squad hub, hopefully that will tell me some more information, because at the minute it's kind of difficult to see if he's fit in 4 days, so I don't think I really want to play him for this game if that's the case. I know he can technically play, but yeah, unfortunately Lawrence and Joswiak aren't going to be playing this game, so it'll be a bit of a different front line. I might be tempted to push Rooney there, and then yeah, maybe just start Marriott, to be fair. I think that's a good shout. Obviously Wisdom, that is incredible actually. When a player's in bad morale, they go down massively. So he's essentially a 63 rated player because of his morale. So morale is a massive factor. And Bielik, wow, literally just butchered our squad. I completely forgot Bielik's on international duty as well. And obviously Clark's not going to be able to play because he's injured. Jesus, we just don't have a back line. Here we are then for the game against Luton Town. Obviously a very different lineup for us. In the end I went for Jordan Ibe on the left, Byrne on the right, Rooney at centre forward, Marriott as striker, back 3 of Brown, Davies and Tawerik, and I'm kind of fortunate in a way. Obviously Roos is a decent backup, but David Marshall could have quite easily been on international duty for Scotland, and we're at a point where the stats are very, very close, because obviously David Marshall's 35 now. The game goes, oh, we'll just decline him in stats. no matter what, and obviously he's conceding quite a few goals, but I don't know if that comes into a factor on players' rating. But as you can see, there's only really a couple in reflexes and a couple in positioning, and yeah, we might look to probably get a new goalkeeper in January. If you guys want to suggest any, make sure you do in the comment section down below. Let's have a quick look at the Luton lineup. Obviously we did play them quite recently in real life and lost the game 2-1. They have got Shea in goal, Bree, Sonny Bradley, Lockyer and Potts, then Uno Kane, Luke Berry, Andrew Shinney, obviously Graham Shinney's brother I think, Lualua, Cornick on the right and James Collins up front. Obviously Cornick was really good in the game, and yeah, I think that it's actually a really good team for saying they're quite newly promoted. So it will be quite a tough test, and obviously with about 5 or 6 changes to the team because of injuries and international duty, we may struggle. Really on the ball here, slips it through for Jack Marriott. Can we get an early start with the left foot? Yes we can. Jack Marriott does make it 1-0 in the first 3 minutes, and he is really good, I must say, because the only downside of him in previous years has been the 2-star skill moves, and now that you can do development plans and increase that to essentially 5-star skills if you really want to, there's no real issue with Marriott, and probably should be starting in games, but obviously because of the number of players we do have, and getting Goswiak, Lawrence and everyone in the team, it's very difficult to get him in. Oh, I've done an offside trap at the wrong time there. I was trying to be clever and essentially stop them from camping on the edge of my box, but yeah, he just turned me completely, and they do make it 1-1 in the first 10 minutes there to quickly reply with a goal out of nothing pretty much. As you can see, the ball went deep, so I was like, I'll just push everyone out, but yeah, I just did it at the wrong time, and completely my fault. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this back three does, since there's not the most amount of fitness with them. Obviously Matt Clark should be back for the next game. Ball out here to Ibe, gets it back to Jack Marriott, just waiting for the runner inside. Jason Knight's there, goes past the man with the shot, good save. Now Jordan Ibe on the volley, another great save. Sibley wide of the post. Oh, just don't know how that didn't go in the back of the net. Sibley on the ball here, goes around the defender nicely with his weaker foot, wide of the post unfortunately. Probably would have scored if it was on his left. Hasn't obviously hit the ground running for us on this career mode, but obviously with a brilliant potential, it's worth this little slow start if it does mean stats in the future. Now with the ball here, slips it into Rooney's path in the box with the shot in the goal. There we go, we have got the lead back in the 30th minute. I must say, I think we have, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to say obviously after only a game and a half pretty much, but we've kind of found a decent area for the difficulty. I want it to be competitive basically, and it's kind of difficult just to, I don't know, make it realistic. I'm on ultimate difficulty on competitive mode, and I'm still having to change the sliders to make it difficult, because at the minute it's just slightly too easy. Simply with the ball here, he might be a little bit better on this left hand side since he is left footed of course. No real option, but we have pulled it back to Jack Marriott, now into Rooney. Boom with the shot, and boom with the goal does make it 3-1 in the 37th minute to get us into a nice comfortable position in the first half, and I think that's Burns' second goal for the club. I think he did score maybe in a cup game, not too sure, but he's really good in that right mid position. And it just means that he's obviously just slightly better defensively than Ibe. Bird on the ball here, slips it into Rooney. Can we make it 4-1? Yes we can, and that is pretty much the game wrapped up in the first half. And maybe, just maybe, it's not quite difficult enough. I don't know, it's just frustrating that I can't make the game difficult enough. I think it's basically when you get into a leading position against the computer, instead of the computer trying to stay in the game and slowly get the goal back, they'll just go all out attack and they'll just be open at the back, and it just makes things, once you get into the lead on difficulties, you kind of win the game. There's no real way of losing. But as we saw in the Bristol City game against an actual competitive team in the league, I think as long as we lose, I don't know, 10 games this season. I don't know if 10's, I think we lost 10 in real life last season, so maybe less than 10, but you know what I mean, if we lose a good amount of games, it means we're at the right difficulty. But if we're not losing games, then it's just a little bit too easy and kind of boring. Like the speed on Nathan Byrne is unreal. It says 88, but it should be like 99 because he just runs his way through. We've still got the ball in the box here somehow. Obviously not the best at shooting, but just running past players, absolutely easy. And there we go, 5-0, 5-1, sorry, with Lewis Sibley, and I think that's his second goal of the season. We have just made a few changes just to rest players up, because obviously we do, I think this is a midweek fixture, and that's why the international players aren't available. But yeah, just defensively, the computer just aren't good enough on ultimate difficulty, and it's actually ridiculous. It seems much more difficult. I've been playing squad battles as well on like legendary, and that's difficult if you're playing against like an 80 rated squad. But obviously, because we're playing in championship games, we're essentially playing like 70 rated squads, so it is kind of difficult to know exactly how the mechanics work. But if we just try and soldier on through it, we'll have to see how we do. Tackle there from Jason Knight. Now Bobby Duncan it's just far too easy to do that. Now with the chip shot over the keeper, and that's 6-1. It's just like, oh, we're winning 6-1, but I'm just like, oh, it's just so easy. It's just so easy to win these games. I just don't know what I can do, really. Let me know what I should do in the comments, because it just shouldn't be happening, scoring like 5 or 6 goals every single week. I don't know if I need to like, because even if I turn my shot error to a point where it's difficult to score goals, I'll still be getting these opportunities. I'll still be like going through on goal quite easily. As you can see again here, Sibley has got it, makes it nearly 7-1. Chance in the box with Collins with the shot, and makes it 6-2. You see, Luton scoring a couple of goals is about right, but me scoring 6 just isn't. But it's just, I don't know, it's just really difficult, because if I make it, we'll obviously change the sliders at the end of the episode, but it's just so, I don't know, it's just kind of annoying that the game just can't be at a position, you know, like ultimate difficulty should be absolutely ridiculous, but scoring goals is just, it's like I'm playing on like semi-pro. It's just actually ridiculous how easy to get through the team is. Obviously we're playing quite an attacking formation, so goals are going to happen anyway. Whittaker with the shot here, just wide of the post. There's full time against Luton Town. It is a 6-2 victory, 6-2 be Luton, and the only thing I can think of, which I can probably do, is increase the AI's ability to score more goals. The problem is at the minute, like, they're scoring every single shot that's on target, but I can maybe increase their ability to create more goals to counteract the number of goals that we're scoring, because I just don't think there's a way of stopping us scoring unless I increase the goalkeeper ability. But the problem when you do that is, like, I don't see an issue with the goals that we're scoring in terms of the actual finish. It's more the defence just not being there. And there we go, that's all that morale from those wonderful games where we're scoring 6 goals a game. And obviously we do go back up to third. Watford in second, and Nottingham Forest still unbeaten in the top with 17 points. So it'll be interesting to see where we actually do play Forest. It's not going to be this month, it is next month in October on the 17th, which is a few days away now. Yeah, we do have the Wycombe game next, and then Preston, then the Spurs game, which I think we'll do in the next episode, because now that we have left the transfer window, what I do basically is do two games when we're in the transfer window. When we're outside of the transfer window, we'll play 3 games, so we will have the Spurs game to look forward to in the next episode. I kind of want to keep what my current sliders are, just to see, like, even if we do absolutely smash Wycombe and Preston, just to see how we do away at home against a Premier League side, because that'll be the real test of whether the game is actually difficult or not, because in fairness, Luton are not exactly the most difficult team in the world. You know, we only won 2-1 against Birmingham. you know, I don't mind it when it's like within 2 goals, but when we're absolutely smashing teams by like 4 or 5 goals, it just gets a little bit boring. So it's just one of those where the difficulty of the sliders is you either make it fun or just really, really boring. And at the minute, obviously, the shot area is just ridiculous. If we increase, I guess we put the goalkeeper ability up by quite a bit. Put marking up a little bit more. I guess we increase their run frequency, because then obviously it just means hopefully they'll score some more goals. In terms of creativity, at the minute, obviously they're scoring pretty much every single shot they score. But they just need to create more shots, basically. And fullback positioning, maybe just drop this back by a massive amount, and maybe even, do you know what, we'll just go to line height 25, and just, maybe these will be crazy, but I don't mind, because at the minute we've only lost, we lost the first game of the season, I think we did anyway, maybe I'm wrong, yeah we did, we lost 3-2 against Blackburn, but my only real defence is that we are playing very, very easy championship teams. And when we maybe play some of the bigger teams like this 3 here, Forest, Brentford and Watford, I'd be happy to take a point from those 3 games. So, yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Obviously not the most amount of things happening on the transfer front, but as I said, we've got a big squad anyway, and to bring in players, it would basically stop our academy players from being able to play. So it's kind of a backwards step. We have had a bit of growth to Jason Knight. He's gone up to a 67, which is good to see. Morgan Whittaker going to a 61. I might be tempted to potentially, I don't know, I want to get a different range of youngsters in, maybe, because Brown's one where obviously we've got quite a few centre backs, as you can see. Maybe George Evans can come in, and then put Whittaker in, and then obviously we've still got the 4 academy players in the first team lineup, so maybe we'll do something like that, and then just obviously Joswiak, or maybe we just pop him on the right, and do something like that. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Make sure you do leave some comments down below on what goalkeeper we should sign to replace Marshall, because obviously now we're basically looking towards January. I would like a goalkeeper that's probably around the same rating as Marshall, but maybe has a potential of like 85 or something, just to be a good goalkeeper for the next 3 or 4 seasons at the club. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Be sure to leave a like rating if you did enjoy, and see you soon. Bye.